Before you start this lab, you're going to need to collect some stuff from around the room. So get yourself a tray. You also might want some paper towels. Get yourself a tray. Get yourself a ring stand with a burette. They're in the back of the room. You're also going to want a hot plate from the hot plate cabinet over near the hood. But you want to make sure you have a hot plate that says stir on it. Okay, we're not actually using the heat part of this. We're using just the stir part. Then once you have your tray, you'll come up to the front with your two beakers. One should be labeled NaOH, the bigger one. The smaller one should be labeled vinegar. Bring those two, and yours should be empty. Bring those two empty beakers to the front. You'll take some NaOH and some vinegar. And then you should have everything you need except for a balance, which we know we share, and phenolphthalein, which we're going to share. So the first thing you're going to do is rinse out your flask. Just make sure it's nice and clean. And then you don't have to worry about the inside, but just dry off the outside. Make it easier on you. Then you're going to put your balance with your flask on top of it. Hit the T button to tare it. Then you're going to use a plastic pipette, which I forgot to get myself, so just pretend I have one. And you'll use the plastic pipette to put in 1.5 to 2 grams into here. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's in that range, but you must record exactly how much it is. I'm just going to pour. Next thing you do is take your stir bar, drop it in the flask, and then you're going to add enough distilled water to cover the stir bar. It makes it easier for stirring. The distilled water in our class is in these containers. Okay, we have them in 2 places. I'm just going to use regular water right now because I don't want to waste the distilled water, but you should use distilled water because tap water has ions in it, and that's what we're trying to do right now is figure out the ions. So make sure you use distilled water. And you just want to cover the stir bar. Once you've done that, add about 2 drops of phenolphthalein. It's okay if you get 3. So 2 drops of phenolphthalein, and that will be your indicator. Okay? Next, you're going to attend to your burette. So you're going to flip your burette over. Take your funnel, put it in the top, and then you're going to take your NaOH and pour it in. Please make sure your burette has the stopper facing horizontally, not vertically. If it's vertically, the NaOH will just come right out. So you want to make sure it's horizontal, and then you can put your NaOH in. And you don't need to fill it all the way up. You should have an idea from the pre-lab how much you're going to need. What I then like to do is just let some of this out so that we can make sure that everything here is NaOH. So we're not getting anything else in our beaker. So if you just want to move the stopper, let some of it out, and then take your initial reading. Okay, so it's basically like when we season pipettes, that's seasoning the burette. So let a little out to make sure all of this is NaOH, and then take the reading. Make sure you take the initial volume reading. Okay, so now we're going to titrate. You're going to put your stir bar, your stirring plate underneath the burette, and then your flask goes like that. Okay, so when you're titrating, we use this burette and the stopper and everything because we want to be as precise as possible, but at the beginning you can just let it go. So what you're going to see, and you can turn that stir on to help you, what you're going to see is that it stays, you just want to let it go until the pink color starts to actually show up from the phenolphthalein. Okay, so it will show up and then start disappearing. And that's when you can start to be more precise. Okay, so you want to keep doing that, and you can turn up the stirring if that helps. But you want to keep doing that until you have a color that doesn't disappear within about 20 seconds. So once you get to kind of a persistent pink color, see how, I don't know if you can see the pink, but it's starting to disappear pretty quickly. And then once you get to that point, you want to go drop by drop until you hit a consistent pink color. If you go this far, that's too far. Okay, you want to avoid going this far. That's way past the end point. So now what you're going to do is take the final volume, record it on your data table. So you can subtract them and you will get the total volume of NaOH that you needed. And then you're going to leave this here. You can put some parafilm over it so that we don't just leave it in the open. Leave this here, put some parafilm on it, and then we're going to talk about procedure B. Okay, I'm not going to go over procedure B because we're going to go over it as a class, what you should do with this that you didn't pass the endpoint. What you should do. And that's titration.